Okay, here we go, jumping straight in. Good luck, have fun being exchanged. So here we go, we've got Nimphelos playing as beta in the bottom left. The map is Mountain Pass, and we're going to see a single refinery opening from him, jumping straight into a factory. There it goes. And we have Krux, everybody's favorite beta streamer, playing here in the top right, going with the exact same opening build. So, looks like the scouts are both making their way towards the center of the map, commando versus commando. It is a beta versus beta mirror match. And I think that's something for Nimphelos to be picking beta. I think people are already questioning that in chat. Nimphelos is going to try to beat Krux at his own game. That's going to be tough. Krux is clearly making the decision here to avoid an engagement with the scout. Not going to try and even bother shooting at him. Just running straight past to see what exactly his opponent is doing. We've got no further structures here in the bottom left. So probably just going to be producing some commandos out of this factory for a little while before worrying about macroing up, getting any more economic structures. The second commando hits the field now. Krux has pretty much scouted everything there is to see here and is now going to leave. He's not going double refinery or anything crazy like that. He's just got a very standard, simple, safe opening. And Krux is, of course, doing the exact same thing. So it's going to come down to who can make the best use of the commandos that they initially have hitting the field here. And it looks like Nimphelos is going to mass commandos a little bit here in his base, sending one to scout, but he's gonna have trouble getting past this screen. Krux has spotted it and will engage, and the scout will be forced to disengage there. Krux gets a little bit of free damage on one commando. Meanwhile, Krux's scout having similar issues here. No further structures have yet been produced, so Krux learns no useful information about his opponent's build. Both playing very cat and mouse right now, sending lone commandos to scout, using the rest of their commandos to simply keep the scouts away, even though neither one of them has done anything that needs to be hidden. Neither one of them is cheesing their opponent, as people like to say, which when people say cheese, they are generally referring to a strategy that that can easily be countered if scouted, but is otherwise designed to catch your opponent off guard. We're actually going to have a second refinery going up here now from Nimphelos. And Krux has timed his almost exactly the same. Nimphelos is a little bit later. A little bit. Krux is going to have a bit of an advantage there, getting that extractor up just a little bit earlier. This one's going to be like 20 seconds later than Krux's. So Krux has just a hair of an economic advantage. Nice timing there. And he's nice positioning by Krux here on this push. He totally caught a commando coming out of the factory there. He couldn't quite micro that one wounded commando away from the engagement. Meanwhile, Nimphelos does preserve one over there. Very nice. And unit preservation like this is so important in these mirror matches because you know you're operating on the exact same economic system as your opponent, and every little commando that you can save in these engagements counts. So they've both lost one commando, and so far this match has been on a razor's edge, both utilizing the exact same build and tactics here, but Krux clearly playing a much more aggressive game. With this squad of commandos, he's actually got another squad here, just kind of protecting against scouting, I guess. So we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 commandos running around, just kind of defending, dancing around in the southwest. And we're going to have 2 more factories going up here, 3 factories, excuse me, going up here. So he's going straight from 2 refineries into 4 factories, and I think that that's a pretty popular build. Oh no, excuse me, that's not a factory, that's an artillery attachment. Okay, so we're probably going to see some pretty quick hailstorms here from Nimphelos. Meanwhile, Krux has gotten himself 2 factories and a tank attachment. Now, I think Predators are a pretty decent counter to hailstorms until the enemy hailstorms hit a certain quantity, and then the hailstorms actually counter Predators. So, in the early phase of things, if Krux can play very aggressively, his Predators should be able to perform quite nicely against those hailstorms. But as if Nimphelos can mass a lot of hailstorms, then things may kind of turn on Krux a little bit. So, Nimphelos is clearly making a bit more of a long-term investment. He's also playing much more defensively. Playing very defensively. And look at this wall that Krux is setting up here. He was waiting for his Predator to arrive, and he's now going to make yet another assault. Krux very much playing the aggressor. Nimphelos kind of always defending, always just sitting back and defending this area. And we're going to see a third refinery from Krux now. So immediately after getting his first Predator, he goes straight into his third refinery. Meanwhile, here, oh, there it is. Third refinery going up from Nimphelos. So Nimphelos just kind of always just a few seconds behind his opponent here on the expansion, but definitely his army is definitely keeping pace. That hailstorm's going to hit the field right now as this commando swarm is coming in. Oh, will it get a rocket off? There it goes. Massive damage before getting taken out. I almost wonder if that was a good return on investment. He did get a perfect rocket on that entire commando blob, and Krux has no AoE of his own, so that gives him a huge advantage in this engagement, with the exception, of course, that there's a Predator right here, and commandos are terrible against Predators, so Nimphelos has to kind of play this one as carefully as he can. Krux is pretty much doing this exactly right, soaking up all the damage with the Predator, meanwhile picking off commandos with it. That being said, it's actually going to get focused down here. I can't quite get to the bushes in time, and the commandos have all taken quite a bit of damage. This might be a good time for an aggressive repair pad from Krux to try and mitigate what that hailstorm inflicted upon him. Another hailstorm is about to hit the field now as well. This game is just on a razor's edge this entire time. I think that Krux is definitely glad he went Predator instead of Hailstorm. Nimphelos' Hailstorm just got laser beamed down by those commandos instantly. Whereas well, I don't know. Like, they both died. The Predator and the Hailstorm both died. Which one do you think gave a better return on investment? The Hailstorm landed a perfect rocket in the center of like 14 commandos. The Predator actually killed some commandos though, like 3. I don't know. I wasn't counting. Kind of dicey. Very dicey. I really don't... this game is definitely becoming too close to call, and it's escalating quickly. We've got a 4th refinery now in Crux's base. If we check here, we're actually... Before a 4th refinery goes up for Nimphelos, we're going to see a large factory. So their builds are really going to start diverging now. They started out doing almost exactly the same thing. Now they're getting very different. Krux is going to proxy here in the southeast. He is going very hard into macro expansion, going straight into a 5th refinery. Look at that. He must be very confident in his forces after that engagement. Nice blind fire by that hailstorm. Krux will be forced to reposition. Very nice, nicely placed rocket there. Further opportunities here. Firing blind again, doesn't quite land anything. Just kind of testing the waters, and he is going to spearhead an assault here with this commando and 2 stalkers in the mix. Good choice to throw some stalkers in there. That will definitely give him the edge he needs against these Predators. Krux will continue to backpedal, play it safe. Makes sense considering he's gone for a 5th refinery, which has just completed. I don't know what Krux is planning as far as production. Oh, look at this. Large factory with artillery attachment. Krux is actually going to rapidly outpace his opponent's artillery here. And Nimphelos is actually going to be the one to disengage now. If Nimphelos were to scout this, then he could actually really punish Crux's proxy there, as it's largely undefended. Meanwhile, Nimphelos continues to resource purely in his base area, and he has completely disengaged, moved away from Crux's base. Meanwhile, Krux is pushing his forces forward to the west here, through the center of the map, and I think this would be a prime opportunity for some repair pad action. Look how wounded all of these commandos are. He's done an excellent job of preserving them. It's a shame that he doesn't heal them. That being said, just buying a repair pad would probably be more expensive than just replacing these commandos. I don't know, maybe that's not true. How many is this? 1, 2... I don't know, it's sort of close. Refinery has gone up here from Nimphelos. Nice timing and positioning by Krux. The enemy's army is not really that nearby to respond to this, and the hub will get taken down, halting all resourcing in this refinery for a significant amount of time. Ooh! Those rockets are just a little out of position. Krux takes only minimal damage. This could be a huge engagement. Here it comes. 1 hailstorm goes down. Nice pickup by Krux. Nothing too ridiculous here. Neither one of them is overcommitting. Ooh, nice pickup again. That Predator goes down for almost no reason. He's scouting a little bit with these commandos, but they're basically going to be forced to suicide here. Oh, nice positioning on those rockets. Huge damage. Oh, no! Oh, there it is. That is the money shot he was waiting for. Very nice. And I think Krux has pretty much lost this engagement. Nimphelos had the better artillery positioning, and pretty much took everything down. Nimphelos took very few losses in that. Krux took heavy damage and losses and will be forced to disengage, and we will have the small hub and refinery going up here. Or, yeah, small hub going up here to replace the one that was destroyed. Get that refinery going once again. But Krux does have 3 new hailstorms making their way down here. And don't forget, he has now got 2 refineries here in this proxy. And I think he's thinking about maybe even another proxy up here. So I think Krux definitely has the stronger economy right now. Although, I don't know, I would have to do an actual count. 1, 2, 3. Although they keep getting powered down. 4, 5 for Nimphelos. And Krux, on the other hand, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so Krux has 1 more refinery and is also continually powering down Nimphelos' refineries. So yes, Krux is definitely garnering himself an economic advantage here. But I think Nimphelos is pulling ahead in the engagements. I think Krux's entire army in this brush just got completely annihilated. Yeah, it's dead. It's all gone. All gone. What is Krux doing here? This is not an engagement he can afford to walk into. Look at that. This is just exactly as I mentioned before. Predators will counter hailstorms in very small numbers. I'm talking like 1 or 2. But once there's like 6 hailstorms standing next to each other, those predators better back off. Or split. Either disengage or split like crazy. I don't know. This could be close. I don't know, they're both playing very, very passive. Neither one wants to overcommit to an engagement that's going to go south fast. Krux just continues to expand down here. You know, a lot of people say one of Krux's biggest weaknesses is that after a certain point he just stops expanding, but we're definitely not seeing that this game. We're on 7 refineries now. He's expanding completely unpunished here in the southeast. Uh-oh. What's happening here? Looks like Nimphelos is completely disengaging, and as a result, he's letting a lot of his artillery get picked off here. Ooh. Does get one nice volley off there and may turn on Krux now. Probably shouldn't have disengaged in the first place. He probably could have done a lot better in this engagement than he has, but at the same time, he's definitely winning. Krux taking heavy losses. It looks like that entire force is going to get wiped, except for 1 hailstorm before reinforcements arrive. We have more predators and stalkers on the way. But Nimphelos' economy is not looking very good. We've got 1, 2, 3, still 5 refineries, I believe. No expansions of any kind anywhere. And Krux is now getting, what is this, an 8th refinery? I believe so. No expansions in the top left from either player, no expansions in the center. So I think Nimphelos may start really falling behind here. What does Krux's production look like? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 large factories. This one producing predators, this one producing more predators, this one making hailstorms, and then some of his small factories making predators and stalkers. I think he's completely halted commando production entirely. And I think that Krux is rapidly outproducing his opponent. His very nice expansion down here in the southeast that his opponent never scouted. Look how undefended this is. Look how completely vulnerable this is. Krux has dedicated none of his forces to this area. None at all. But Nimphelos has never punished him for that. Oh! He is making great use of these cliffs and mountains, though, to engage very cost effectively with his artillery. And it's no wonder that Krux is making only Predators, because the Predators with their larger size and larger health pool will survive a lot longer against massed artillery than Commandos will, but good God. Even then, after a certain point, does it even matter? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hailstorms firing at you. It doesn't matter whether it's Commandos or Predators, it's gonna die. Extractor being rebuilt here. Still no small hub on this refinery. Does not look good for Nimphelos. His economy is way behind. Krux has got him very contained. I think it would take some sort of game-changing tech decision here from Nimphelos to get him out of this bind, namely Nimbuses or a hand of Rukers or something. I don't know. But I don't think that he can win just continuing to produce hailstorms, commandos, and stalkers. If he doesn't change things up, then he's just gonna get outproduced. This is a production war, and he's losing it. We will see the hailstorm upgrade to fire on the move here, and we can definitely see that it's proving to be a thorn in Krux's side. Every time he tries to make an aggressive play, those hailstorms are just shutting him down. Look at the massive losses he's inflicting, and look how cost effectively he's engaging. He is doing a good job of negating the fact that Krux is simply outproducing him by trading so well. He is barely sustained any losses at all. The question is, will he be able to utilize the resource surplus he gains there to turn things back in his favor? So far it seems like he's spending pretty much all of his resources just on replacing his lost buildings, just rebuilding refineries, rebuilding hubs, replacing what few of his units do die. Here comes another huge force from Krux, and these hailstorms are falling very low. These are pretty much the keystone to Nimphelos' defense, and once that falls, I think the whole base is about to crumble here. And there it is. They go down. GG being exchanged, and Krux is victorious. That will be the end of game 1. Well played, Krux. And we're going to